Hey Algebra 2. Alright, I've got a video for you on solving a system of equations with three variables, or three equations. Okay, you want to put this in the next page in your notebook, so make sure you glue that in. Of course, I always like to do notes before I glue them in because sometimes it's a hassle doing the notes outside, so you can always do this before. Now with these equations, when you have three variables, this can be pretty challenging, and just make sure you're staying really focused as you go through. Don't try to rush these problems. They can take a little while, and if you rush it and you make a little mistake, it'll kind of get you at the end. All right, it's kind of difficult to find your mistake. All right, so first thing is what we're trying to do is obviously solve for each variable, x, y, and z. All right, first step is we want to take equation 1 and 2. Now you see I put 1 and 2 over here, but honestly you can choose any two equations you want. You just need to choose two of them. All right, so I'm going to take the first two equations and bring them over here. And I'm going to write one on top of the other. And as you're writing it, double check, am I writing down the correct signs? Is that plus? Is that minus? Is that negative? Okay, make sure you're writing it down correctly. I see a lot of mistakes right here in the first step where people just simply aren't writing them down correctly in the first step. Alright, so what you'll notice is I wrote it on one on top of the other because, again, we're trying to eliminate. We're using the process of elimination in order to solve one variable at a time. Alright, so what I notice is that the y's, they're already opposite, so I can cancel that out. So now what happens is now I have a new equation. After I've eliminated my first variable, this is now equation 4. Okay, because this is 1, 2, and 3. My new equation I'm going to get here, which is 2x, x plus x, and negative 3z plus z. That's minus 2z. And then equals negative 8 plus 4, which is negative 4. So that's my new equation, number 4. So now what I could do is go over to the right, and I'm going to do the same thing, except now I have to pick two new equations. I can't pick the same two that I picked over here. Okay, but whatever I pick, I need to eliminate the same variable. So I'm going to do 2 and 3. So what you heard me just say is that when you eliminate on this side, you must eliminate the same variable you did in the first step. Also be careful here, if z is one of their variables, don't get that confused with a 2, because that's not a 2 there, that's a z. Little things, okay? Now I notice right away that boom, the y's are already opposite, so this one is kind of set up nicely for me. So I can just go ahead and eliminate y there. And again, you have to eliminate y. Okay, so x or 1x minus 3, that's minus 2x. Okay, then z plus 2z, 3z, and then 4 plus 3, 7. Double check, did I write down the signs correctly from the first step? Okay, I think I'm good to go. Alright, so now what that's going to be is equation 5. So now you're going to use these two new equations to figure out your first variable. So you can see the way I've done this is I've kind of created like a mold that you guys can use to go from step to step. So first I'm going to take this equation over here. This is my equation 4. Just put it right on top. And then I'm going to take my other equation, equation 5. And you don't have to number it like I'm doing. I'm just showing you the kind of the outline or template that I like to use when going through these. And again, you're going to eliminate once more. Okay, well I notice right away. Now I can choose a new variable. I don't have to choose y this time. On the first step I need to choose the same, but here in the next step I can choose whichever one I want. And I notice right there, as you guys probably noticed, that the x's can be eliminated. So now I'm going to end up with another new equation. Oh, let's get a different color here. Okay, so now negative 2z plus 3z, that works out nicely, just z, equals negative 4 plus 7, 3. So there's my first variable, my first solution. Okay, but if it's 3 solutions, it's 3 variables, so I got to figure out the other 2. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these equations, 4 or 5, and plug in that 3. So off to the side here, oh, that color's not working. Off to the side here, I'm going to take, let's say, we'll take the equation number 4. And again, you can choose 4 or 5. And the idea here is that I need to solve, I'm going to use z to solve for another variable. If I try to plug z back into this one of the first 3 equations, I'll still have x and y to solve for, and that doesn't help me limit or figure out one of the variables. Okay, so I want to plug it into an equation where there's only 2 and where I can get rid of the z. So now I'm going to plug that in there. Make sure you plug it into the right spot, and we need to plug it in right there. Where I see z. Okay, now 2x. And again, just stay focused here. Don't lose your concentration and start going super fast, all right? As you get good at them, you can, but when you first do these, just take your time. 2 times 3, so that's minus 6. Then add 6 both sides. I'll zoom out of here a little bit so you can see the whole layout. Okay, now negative 4 plus 6, that's 2. Divide by 2, x equals 1. Okay, so there's my next variable. So far I have 1 and 3, x and z. You notice I haven't wrote my solution in there yet, because at the end I want to check it to make sure I'm even correct. Okay, so now I go back up to the first equations, 1, 2, or 3, okay, and that's where it says, and then again into 1, 2, or 3, and now solve for the last variable, which is y. And I'm going to choose equation number 2 just because the coefficients are all 1 for the variables, and that makes it a little easier for me to work out. So again, this is equation 2, x minus y plus z, copy it down correctly. Alright, then I'm going to plug in variables here for x and here for z. So first I have positive 1, and then over here I have positive 3. Okay, so now 1 minus y plus 3 equals 4. Now I'm going to combine like terms. So I have negative y plus 4, 1 plus 3. Okay, subtract 4 both sides. Negative y equals 0. Divide the negative 1, which of course is just 0 anyways. Okay, so now I have 1, 0, and 3. But again, you notice I haven't written them down yet because now we're going to check it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is in the same way when you just have 2 equations with just 2 variables, you have to plug it into all 3 equations to make sure that it actually works. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and set this up over here to the side. And again, when you work these out on paper, give yourself a lot more room. Okay, so actually I'll go ahead and write it down just so I have a reference. Alright, so now I'm going to take equation number 1. Okay, so I have 1, and I really don't need parentheses, plus 0, minus 3 times z, which is 9. Okay, 1 minus 9, negative 8. So that works. Okay, and then we'll do 1 minus y, 0, z plus z, which is 3, should equal 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. Boom, done. Okay, and you notice I'm not going to work through every little step. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and check it. Okay, 3 times 1 plus y, which is 0, plus 2 times 3. Okay, that should equal 3. I ran out of room. Okay, but I've got negative 3 here, and then plus 6. So yeah, that does work. That is equal to 3. So then I know this is correct, this is correct, this is correct. Okay.